Good evening and welcome back to the Shadow Nook. This evening we are travelling to London to talk about the Ragged School Museum. Tucked away quietly along Regent's Canal in East London stands a building that doesn't look frightening. Red brick, tall windows, a peaceful, almost forgotten place. But step inside and the silence feels wrong. Because this building once held over 1,000 children, many starving, many abandoned, and many with nowhere else to go. And today, some people believe they never truly left. Visitors don't report violent hauntings here. Instead, something far more unsettling. Footsteps, voices, laughter, kind of sounds that should belong only to the living. To understand the hauntings at the Ragged School Museum, you have to picture a Victorian East London as it really was. Not the romantic version, but the reality. Filthy streets, overcrowded housing, disease spreading rapidly, entire families crammed into single rooms, and children sleeping in alleyways. Some as young as 5 years old were pickpockets, begging and fighting to survive. These children were known as the Ragged Children. Now, in the 1860s, a young man named Thomas Bernardo arrived in London. He came to study medicine. But what he witnessed changed everything. One night he met a boy who had no home. Bernardo didn't believe it, until the boy led him to a rooftop and showed him a sea of children sleeping outside. That moment changed his life. In 1877, Bernardo opened what is now the Ragged School Museum, built from old warehouses beside the canal. Inside it became a place of hope, but also discipline. Children were taught reading, writing, religion, but life inside wasn't easy. Imagine long wooden benches, cold rooms in the winter, and strict teachers enforcing order. Many children arrived here traumatized, hungry, frightened, and although this place helped them, it also absorbed their pain. The school closed in 1908. After that, the classrooms emptied, the voices disappeared, and the building became warehouses. For decades it stood filled with silence, until it reopened as a museum in 1990. But by then, something may have already settled inside the building. One of the most consistent reports from staff and investigators is heavy footsteps. Walking across the upper floors, not quick, not light, but slow and deliberate. One volunteer recalled locking up for the evening. As they reached the staircase, they heard footsteps above them. Thinking someone had been left behind, they called out, but there was no answer. The footsteps continued, crossing from one end of the room to the other. When they finally went upstairs, the entire floor was empty, and the sound stopped instantly. Now, during a paranormal investigation, a small group had split up across the building, and one investigator stayed behind in a classroom. The others moved downstairs. A few minutes passed, and then clearly, a woman's voice called his name. Not faint, not distant, right behind him. He turned immediately, expecting to see someone, but the room was empty. He rushed downstairs, slightly shaken, and asked who had called him. Every single person denied it. They had been together the entire time. No one had gone upstairs. Some of the most unsettling reports come from controlled investigations. In one case, a small rubber ball was placed in the centre of a classroom floor. The group sat in a circle. One person asked, "If there's anyone here, can you move the ball?" For several seconds, nothing happened. And then slowly, the ball rolled. It wasn't a sharp movement, not kicked or thrown, just a slow, steady roll across the floor. Enough to make the entire group freeze, because there was no visible cause. Now the basement was once used as a children's play area. Today it is one of the most feared parts of the building. People describe an immediate change when entering. The air feels heavier. Sounds seem muted. One investigator chose to sit alone in the dark. Minutes passed in silence, and then a sudden feeling, as if someone was standing directly behind them, close enough to touch. They turned quickly. Nothing there. But the feeling didn't leave. It stayed, pressing, watching, until they finally left the room. Perhaps the most emotional reports are that of the sound of children. Late in the day, when the museum is quiet, staff have heard soft crying, whispering, and children laughing. One worker describes hearing what sounded like a group of children talking, faint but unmistakable, coming from an empty classroom. When they open the door, silence. Instant, unnatural silence. Several visitors have reported seeing movement, things such as a dark shape crossing a doorway or standing briefly in a corner. One account describes a figure shaped like a child, standing near a desk, completely still. When the witness blinked, it was gone. Now, not all experiences are seen or heard. Many people describe sudden sadness or tightness in the chest, the urge to leave, and this is particularly present in the classrooms. Some believe this is residual energy. Others think it is simply a weight of the history, but those who felt it say the same thing. It doesn't feel imagined. The Ragged School isn't haunted by violence. There was no executions here, no famous murders. Instead, it holds something quieter, the echoes of hard lives, lost childhoods, and thousands of emotions. And maybe that's what still lingers in the museum today. Today, the Ragged School Museum stands as a place of history, a reminder of compassion, of people who tried to help, but also a place where something doesn't quite fade. Because sometimes the strongest hauntings don't come from violence, they come from memory. So if you ever find yourself walking down those quiet halls and you hear footsteps above you, or a voice calling your name, ask yourself, are you imagining it? Or are the children of the past still here? Let me know down below in the comments if you would visit this museum or if you have, and let me know if you saw anything. And before you go, let's do your oracle card reading. I've been liking this one lately, so we will do the Mystic Forest oracle cards today. As usual, I will draw one card for you, and you can interpret it however you like. We have Heart Path. It's not worth pursuing a path without passion. This road will only lead you to uncertainty and frustration. Follow your heart and you can't go wrong. Let me know down below what this could possibly mean to you. Thank you once again for joining me this evening in the Shadow Nook. Don't forget to collect your subscription on your way out, and sleep well.